What's up, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with Tesla stock. I'm going to do analysis about the share price and break down what I think is going to pan out for the second half of this year, especially as Tesla's been on a downtrend for the last couple of months. Do I think this will continue for the year, or do I think Tesla will make a full recovery? I'll give you guys my opinion. But just know that I am not a financial planner. Make sure you take nothing I say as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $2,000, you're guaranteed 30 in total, and the offer ends at the end of March. Anyways, as far as Tesla's going, as you guys can tell, Tesla's been on a bit of a downtrend. If you look at the last couple of months, Tesla was at the almost $500 area back in the middle of December, and since then it's been declining. It's now in the 350s for a big downtrend. So Tesla's been downtrending, but the question is, will this continue, or will Tesla get a big bounce? Let's talk about the factors affecting it. So the first thing is the price-price ratio has been on a bit of a downtrend, because this is signifying that Tesla is very weak compared to SPY and the QQQ. The QQQ and SPY are both approaching all-time highs. The S&P 500, the NASDAQ are running very nicely, but Tesla's been on a decline despite that, which goes to show there's a little bit of weakness relative to the markets. So what does this mean for us moving forward? Will Tesla continue to be weak? Why is Tesla selling off? Let's talk about why that is. The first thing that happened was we saw their sales decline year over year when the numbers came out in January. So what's happening is we had a stronger year in 2023 than 2024 technically, despite the fact that Q4 2024 was strong and the strongest quarter for Tesla. It was not enough for them to get their sales overall for the year in the green because of many factors that are affecting them when it comes to macroeconomic conditions. And then on top of this, there's even more bad news, right? If you look at their sales for the month of January, the Chinese sales are down 15%. The European sales have been down between 30 and 60% in different regions, especially in Germany. They were down 59%, according to reports. And then in America, they were down over 10%. So a big decline in Tesla sales throughout the world. It's not just America, it's not just China, it's not just Europe, it's everything combined. And this led to some concerns amongst investors and lots of negative headlines. So that's why Tesla was on a very big downtrend for the last couple of months. I also saw other bad pieces of news that went on, especially involving like Elon Musk, politics, and the list goes on. So currently, Elon Musk is getting lots of criticism despite the fact that Tesla's trying to reverse, at least technically. But the question is, can Tesla make a full recovery? There's lots of these investors and analysts that are saying Tesla will run to $475 to $500 per share by the end of the year. And I actually think it's very possible if things go right for them. So what has to go right for Tesla? Let's talk about exactly what this is. When you look at Tesla's financial summaries, you will see that for Q4, there's actually been a slight decline in their own overall revenue relative to what we saw in Q3. Also, when you look at their overall margins, they're actually looking at lower margins than what we saw throughout the entire year of 2024. So we're seeing a decline in Tesla's margins, a decline in their sales, a decline in their overall numbers. So that's not the best of news, at least thus far. But what could offset this would be two different things. The first thing is the fact that Tesla's made it very clear that they are planning on launching their refreshed Model Y for 2025 in the month of March. So in March, they should be announcing this new version of it. Not just announcing it, I mean, they should be launching it officially, right, on the streets. So if that's the case, if it truly comes out in March, it should be coming out in March very soon, in just a couple of weeks. That could be a game changer for them to help their sales go up, especially when we have earnings coming out in just, for the Q1 period. That's just a couple of months away. So we'll see how this goes. If this can help offset their sales. The second big catalyst is going to be something outside of vehicles, because this is the thing that like Kathy Wood and many others are saying. When you look at their revenue, right now Tesla is very dependent on their main revenue basically comes from these streams right here. We have their automotive sales, then we have energy storage. Those are the two big factors, at least for Tesla. There's also charging and other factors like that, but they're not as significant. So the main thing is Tesla's automotive sales that gets their revenue, right? But to really offset this, there's going to be another big market, which is going to be the robo-taxi. It's going to be Tesla basically starting their rideshare service, which is where they have, automatic systems in place to allow people to travel without a driver, right? You have like a robo-taxi. That service is going to be absolutely massive, and that's going to be worth many trillions. And this could help generate so much money for Tesla as well. It's going to be a game changer for the way in which people travel. So in my view, okay, there's going to be a high demand for this over time, but it's not going to launch immediately. It's not going to just, be instantly in place. It's going to take a lot of people getting used to it, accepting it, getting through lots of challenges and regulations. So keep in mind that like if there is a human driver, humans drive all the time, right? When there's a car accident, the media does not make a big deal out of it. When there are fatalities, it's very sad. I understand that, but the media is not going to scream about that, right? Compared to if there's like a FSD, if Tesla's trying to use its own technology and then there's like an accident, obviously the headlines are going to go crazy about that. So there's going to be a lot of challenges for Tesla to really take on, which is why they're not going to launch this immediately. It's going to take them a while, right? Elon Musk described this as them pretty much just like sticking a toe or two in the water first before they start to essentially put in an entire leg. So this is the important thing. Tesla will not be fully launching FSD in its entirety at one point. They're first starting off in California. They have their Fremont's Gigafactory around there. In Fremont, California, they have that Gigafactory. They're testing FSD in a very, very large scale and feeding the data to their giant supercomputer. And then in the month of June, they're supposed to be launching the same thing, another unsupervised FSD, which could be a game changer. And here's the reason why. This could be a game changer for Tesla because right now Tesla's in a position where they keep talking about how it's all talk. They have a robotaxi coming. They're gonna, get these robots out, this and that. But talk is one thing. It's great. It could give us a good view of the future, but it's nothing compared to having an actual product and actually launching something that's physical and real. So if they officially, launch this unsupervised FSD in June, and this leads to a lot more optimism about its capabilities, this could help the share price at least to some extent. This could help the share price by bringing in more optimism about their products. And then another big factor is going to be their Optimus robots. Elon Musk and the team have been saying that they're going to be launching Optimus very, very soon as well. So we're waiting to see if that ends up being the case. But their plan is to build thousands of these Optimus humanoid robots and start using them in the Tesla Gigafactory. They have arguably some of the most advanced hands ever made because developing the hands is like really, really tricky. And then there's other products like that. So Tesla is kind of like reaching this point where, yes, historically it's been all about the cars, this and that. The cars are what's getting their revenue up. But now their balance sheet is going to be showing their robotaxi service. Eventually, it's going to show the Optimus robot. What revenue will Tesla generate from this over the next couple of years, right? So that's the trajectory that Tesla's going to be on, and that's what got investors so excited. Now, we're not just going to instantly build robots tomorrow. We're not just going to have FSD launch tomorrow and make cars autonomous, overnight. It's going to take a while. There's a process to get there. And the start of this process will be them launching the unsupervised version of this, giving us more prototypes of Optimus and seeing them around the factory. Those are bullish catalysts. So we need to see Tesla continue to do this as time goes on. And this is exactly what these investors are talking about. So Gary Black, we have, Dan Ives, these other Wedbush analysts coming out saying that, yes, Tesla could run to $500, but we need autonomous driving systems. We need robots. We need an increase in energy storage. We need these external catalysts outside of their car sales. So if they do achieve all of that for the year, I do think Tesla could make a big V-shaped recovery. I think it could try to break out and make a nice recovery move. At least for the short term, that's what I anticipate is very possible. But let's break this down. So you guys can see that Tesla's forming a flag right over here. This is a bull flag, which tends to lead to bullish outcomes over time. And let me give you some examples of why Tesla loves to do this. Look at the last year. We could go back many, many months. For example, I'm just going to go back starting in like July of last year. Tesla did the same thing, right? We were forming this flag just like this, and then we got to break out of it. So we were bearish as long as we were contained inside of this flag. This was bearish. We saw a big dump, only for Tesla to make a full recovery within a couple of months. Within 2 months, made a full recovery move once we got the break out of this resistance right over here, right? So that's a very, very nice move. Secondly, we had this move right over here. There's a bit of a decline right here, another big downtrend, right? And then we had this resistance right here. We broke out of it, a nice little breakout from this bull flag. So it's another example of Tesla doing this, okay? Here's the third example. Same thing. We were on this very, very big decline. People were panicking about Tesla going from 270 all the way down to like 230 a share. People were saying it's going to crash, it's going to crumble, it's going to crash down here to the 100s. Nope. We made a full recovery like it was nothing. And Tesla loves to do this all the time. So I think that we love to do that. We also love to form cup and handles. So another example would be like, I think right here we also had like a cup and handle. So this is another example of what Tesla likes to do. We also love to form like cups and then handles before we break out higher. There's another example right here. We formed a cup and handle, went a lot higher. So we're watching for that as well. But in this case, this is what I think Tesla's doing. So for the short term, when you zoom in like this, we have a very, very clear inverse head and shoulders. There's a possibility Tesla goes higher if we break 362 for the short term. So if we have this move like this, this is like a left shoulder. This is like our head. This is like a right shoulder. And then if we break higher, we're looking for an attempt for like the 370s, 380s or so. It's possible we try to do this for the short term, but we're not officially super, super bullish unless we break out of this trend line. We need to break this trend line resistance to turn bullish. We have not done that yet, and I'm not sure if we're going to do that soon. There might be a lot of hardships and hurdles in Tesla's way. So what I think might happen is something like this. If Tesla does continue this downtrend, we're going to be watching to see if 300 and 320 hold us. 320 is where we have this gap over here, and then 300 is that main support way down here. It needs to hold that. If it does not hold that, there's going to be a risk of us falling to like the 270s. 270s where we had the cup and handle breakouts. That's going to be the next support I watch for. But just to be frank, this is what I could be predicting. Now, I can't promise you I'll be correct about this, but this is essentially what I'm seeing. So we have never broken out of this channel, this flag yet, right? Even if we push a little higher for the next couple of days/weeks, it could still see a big rejection and then continue this downtrend all the way down to like 270 if we lose 300. So I'm going to be watching to see if the low 300s and then if they hold or not. If not, we have like 270. And then eventually we will be looking for a break out of this resistance. So if we break this resistance, that's when we're going to be looking for a nice V-shaped recovery move. And then towards the end of the year, especially with the unsupervised FSD coming out, I think we will eventually be launching right back up to all-time highs to make a nice recovery move towards the end of the year, right? There's a very, very good chance Tesla will do something like this. Why will Tesla make a full recovery? Because of the fact that we have external catalysts coming out and we have a bullish setup, at least so far. The short term, it's bearish. Short term, it might decline more, but once we get that break, it will break out a lot higher. Here are some hints that this is going to pan out. So when you look at the daily charts, there's lots of unfinished business on the chart, essentially. So what I mean by that is look at these gaps right over here. If you look at this gap, for example, we have a gap down here around this 336 area. There's another gap at 320, hasn't been filled. And then there's these big gaps in the 350s and 320s. I'm sorry, the 250s and 220s. I don't think we're going to dump to fill every one of these gaps, just some like down in the low 100s and the 90s. I don't see Tesla declining that hard. That's ridiculous. But some of these gaps might get filled, guys, especially the one closer to like 270. They might end up getting filled if we continue this decline. But then at the same time, there's also gaps above. So Tesla, when it started to dump, we left a giant gap down up here in the 400s. There's another gap up here around the 450s. There's a lot of gaps left on Tesla. So for now, although Tesla's been on a bit of a decline, right? We have those gaps way down there to fill, which makes me open my eyes to the possibility that we're going to continue this decline. I will turn bullish if we break out of this channel. If we start breaking this channel like this, that's a bullish breakout. We could just start the full recovery move from here. But that's not looking very likely to me. I think what's more likely is that we try to bounce, but then there might be more bad news that comes, and Tesla may continue to decline a little bit longer. It may maintain this wedge for a bit longer before we finally break out of this. We also have some gaps to fill in the 320s, the low 300s, not to mention all the way down to about 250, which I'm not sure if we go that low. It's going to be tricky for Tesla to drop that much. But once we break out of this, once this breaks out, that's going to be very bullish to me. If we make a move like this, then we will eventually make a full recovery very, very slowly to start filling these gaps right back up. You could also add that if you look at the full measured move like this, I'm not sure if we do decline that low, but just in case we do end up losing 300, this aligns very, very nicely with our key level right over here. So if you take a fib retracement, you're going to be looking for essentially the 0.786, which aligns with 270. Also, we have 320 at our 0.618 retracement. So we'll see how it goes. Anyways, for the short term, yes, Tesla might push a little bit, but I think it's going to continue to respect a downtrend. But eventually, we will break out of this flag, and eventually Tesla will be looking for a big recovery move. So most likely, I think that these catalysts, such as the unsupervised FSD launching in Texas, Optimus robots, and a bunch of factors like that could help Tesla. If Tesla truly launches all of these things, that's going to be very bullish, and we could be making a very, very nice recovery move, maybe during the second half of this year. For the first half, yes, we may continue to respect this decline, but there's going to be a big move most likely coming. We'll see how things end up going for Tesla. But anyways, that's it for my quick analysis for the day. Anyways, the market's going to be closed again tomorrow for President's Day and in honor of George Washington's birthday. So keep that in mind. I'll be back with another update then to talk about all the other charts like SPY and the others. Until then, watch out for my next video, and thank you all so much for listening. Have a good day and peace out.